In this video, I'm going to be showing you the best playmaking badges for lockdowns in NBA 2K23. If you're new to the channel, my name is Lance. I'm the head coach for Bucks Gaming. So how this is going to work is we have three categories: best, secondary, and worst. So secondary is kind of like badges that if you have enough badge points you can use, or for like specific type of play styles. All the badges are in the corner. I want to put them where they go, and then I'll kind of give you my breakdown. If you agree or disagree, I'd love to know in the comments below. The first badge is going to be handles for days. I'm going to put it on worst / do not use. As a lock, you're not really going to be dribbling the ball like that. And so your stamina kind of on offense is not going to be, anything that you need to worry about, to be honest. Park locks, though, depending, again, like on your play style, what type of build that you end up having, there is maybe a case for handle for days if you like actually put the ball down. So if you run like a 6'9", like lock, but for your general like rec pro-am builds, it's like mainly all defense, all shooting, those types of locks. Handle for days is just going to be a waste of badge. Mismatch experts, the next one. Mismatch is going to be a tough one because you are most locks like the 6'7", 6'8" range, and so mismatch, they're going to have to be a much taller defender than you, and most of the time the defenders on you are usually by the same height. So mismatch really isn't ever going to kick in, to be honest. If it does, it's going to be a rare type of situation. So what I really want to focus on with some of the badges is how often can it activate, and then how strong kind of does it help you shoot, types of things, or play make. So with Mismatch Expert, it's just not going to kick in enough for a lock to be able to use this like consistently and good. Next one's Killer Combos, also going to put on worst. Even for point guards, Killer Combos right now is not a very effective badge. At the beginning, some were running it, but I've come to learn that not a lot of guards are running Killer Combos anymore. Really, it just comes down to like how many playmaking badges you have. But as a lock, again, back to rec pro-am kind of play style for a lock, you shouldn't be dribbling like that. Be able to have to use this type of a badge, as a lock. Maybe you got like two kind of dribbles in order to score the ball. And so with Killer Combos, this is really for like your spam dribblers, but even then, not even the point guards using them. Next is Unpluckable. So Unplug, I'm actually going to put on Do Not Equip. It could be maybe a secondary, but for myself, again, it's just really how many situations are you next to a defender with high steal ratings, and then dribbling the ball a lot. So most of your locks in rec and pro-am, unless you're in transition, maybe you cut from the corner, you're catching the mid-range, and it's like 1-2 steps to dunk it, or you're shooting your midi. Some catch in the corner to go flare or to shoot fades out of the corner. Most of the time with Unpluckable, it's just going to be a tough situation to put yourself in to what I wouldn't say waste, but to use playmaking badges where you could put them elsewhere and actually really be useful. Next is going to be Quick First Step. So I'm actually going to Quick First Step to best. I think Quick First Step is good for a lockout of the corner. If you catch a quick one, maybe you flare to hash or you're in transition, Quick First Step just going to help you be able to score. So most of the time with rec and pro-am locks, you're going to be put in like small windows or like quick situations where you got to go get a basket or you got to do something with the ball. And so I think Quick First Step can just help you get that burst, get to the rim, whatever you're trying to do. And then for part, Quick First Step would be great if you're playing lock. You might have to come get the ball flare and attack the lane. So Quick First Step definitely has its uses for locks. It's one of the best playmaking badges pretty much for any build. 50-50 for center, but pretty much every build. And I think it's a must-have for most lockdowns, if not every lockdown needs to have it. Next is Vice Grip. I'm going to put on Do Not Use / worst. Unless I get like full confirmation that Vice Grip is like glue hands, which hasn't been proven. It's just a badge that really is only for centers or bigs that like get rebounds. As a lock, you're not going to have usually a player on you that has a super high steal. So in those catch and shoot situations, you really don't even get ripped off those too often. Most of the time it's just putting the ball on the floor. Now, if you just stand there with the ball in front of you, yeah, you could get ripped from that. Again, I just think it's just a waste of badge points. And then with your lock, like how many playmaking are you really getting begin with? So I just don't think Vice Grip's great. It could kind of be a secondary badge, but I just don't think it has many uses as a lockdown defender. So next is Special Delivery. Also going to put on Do Not Use. Special Delivery, I'm not a fan of throwing flashy passes. Some people are. I do like the alley-oop success, but if you go to rec and pro-am, there's not many locks that are going to catch us and throw an oop to somebody. So you're really on the receiving end of most of these. And then, being a fan of directional passes and actually like being able to control the balls going, that's just flashy pass you can't control. So you're just double tapping the button and then just kind of praying. Now, if it's wide open, it works. It's good, but it really doesn't help your team out, in my opinion, or in general, especially as a lockdown defender. So I think it's a wasted badge if you add it. In my opinion, but some people like to run, some weird badges. So next one's Post Playmaker. Also going to put on worst. You will get some rebounds as a lock, if you're trying to get down there sometimes, but or not on the offensive side, but you know what I'm trying to say. Like with post playmaker, you got to get offensive rebounds, kick it out for threes. You're not really going to put yourself in a situation you're going to get a ton of offensive boards, maybe here or there. And so with this badge, if you end up doing an offensive rebound, yes, you kick it out, but it's like how many times you're really doing that per game. And so are you benefiting your team on the, when you get the ball versus, just this badge? So I just think it's just a waste of badge points for you. And I think that you could better help your team in other areas. Next badge is Needle Threader. Needle Threader is going to go to best. I like Needle Threader. I just think it just helps with your passes. And again, as a lock, you're going to be put in a lot of tough situations in the corner, especially in Rec and Pro-Am. And you got to get the ball somewhere quick. Defender can't steal it. So I think Needle Threader is just good for most Pro-Am Park players. Now, Needle Threader or Pro-Am Rec players, Needle Threader in the Park, maybe not so much. You could think about using it. So Needle Threader for me on this one's really just for those 5v5 type of players. Just really be able to make sure you're having accurate passes to get through the defense. But if you play Park, probably not much, not needed too much. Next is going to be Clamp Breaker. This one I think is going to be like a controversial one, and I'm going to actually put this on secondary. I think Clamp Breaker is a great badge, and so what I'm thinking is like just on bronze or maybe even silver if you can get it. The lock I have on my channel is 6'7". You could find it. It's a great competitive lock build in my opinion. Whenever you get those like last moment situations you want to drive the lane, Clamp Breaker is going to help you kind of slide to those defenders in the corner, not really have them like hold you still when you have the ball in your hand. So if you combine that with Quick First Step, Clamp, and a few other badges like this one, or Clamp Breaker and a few other badges, it's going to really make it where like when you catch it, you're an actual like real threat to attack the rim most of the time. So I do like Clamp Breaker. If you can get it, I think it's a great badge to add. And then Park, absolutely would love to have this badge, especially like I said, like most of the time your job is just to attack the lane or get 2 or 3 dribbles, and this badge can really help you get to the rim pretty easily. Next badge is Hyperdrive. I'm going to add Hyperdrive to best. And so with Hyperdrive in transition, and sometimes in the half court when you attack downhill, it activates. It's just to make you faster. So again, Rec Pro-Am as a lock, maybe you rip the point guard, someone gets a steal, you take off, the ball gets thrown to you, which is going to help you stay ahead of the defense. So the worst thing as a lock is getting chase downs or like defenders catching up to you. It should be a free basket pretty much every single time that you get out in transition. So with Hyperdrive, I think it kind of like solidifies your ability to get out in front of the defense. And then in the half court again, I've seen it activate when you're kind of attacking downhill the same way. So kind of Quick First Step on Hyperdrive and Clamp Breaker can all kind of work together to really make sure that you can get to the rim as fast as possible and really not allow the defense to move or, rotate those types of things because you're getting the rim so quickly. So Hyperdrive is, I think, a must-have with Quick First Step. I think it's just kind of a foundational badge for most of your locks. Next one's going to be Bailout. So Bailout, I'm actually going to put as the first best one. I think it's number 1 on almost every 5v5 and Park player. Everyone's going to be put in a situation where you take a shot and a defender just comes out of nowhere and you need to make an accurate pass. Bailout on bronze is like the max I would put it at in my opinion. I would not go any higher. So it's really a cheap badge. I think it's usually 3 points for most builds. And it's going to save you a lot of turnovers. Whenever you go for a jump shot, you got to kick out. You're just spamming A or X to get the ball out of your hand. And then Bailout's just going to kick in. It's going to make a decently catchable pass instead of the ball just flying out of bounds. So most builds need to run a Bailout. I would suggest almost every single build, if you can, try to run Bailout if you're going to have the ball and have to make some passes in all modes. So Rec, Pro-Am, Park. Really Rec and Pro-Am 100%. Park, maybe you get away with not running it, but again, we all know how 2K works, the contest system. Sometimes it can be here or there. So I think Bailout's just a good badge to have in general for most of your competitive builds. Next badge is going to be Floor General. I'm putting that on secondary. So with most locks, you're going to have a few playmaking badges left over. And I think Floor General is just a way to be a team player. So Floor General activates for everybody else but yourself. And so usually I like to try to think of Floor General for power for corner players, players that really just stand there and don't do too much in Rec and Pro-Am. But Floor General is going to kick in, help your teammates make shots, just really boost everybody's offensive ability. And so it's just going to help your team be a better team. And if you're a position that has extra badge points and you're kind of wasting them, putting them, here or there, like let's say like a build like this, handle for days, you could go get, yeah, that helps you, but is that really your play style? So you could take those points, add it into floor general if you have it unlocked at a decent rating, and then now you're helping your entire team. Maybe you're going to win more games. Your point guard can't shoot that great or anything like that. Floor general can help them, hit a few more shots. So I think it's just good for a kind of a team oriented type of lock that maybe plays rec pro-am, or if they're just really in the corner and park, not really a dribbler or anything like that, it could be good just to help your team out. Next badge is Dimer. I'm going to put it on Do Not Use. I just think Dimer, mainly, you're going to have to make a lot of passes for it to activate. And as a lock, you're not really going to be put in a ton of situations where you're going to be able to activate Dimer. And so I just think it's a waste of badge points. Next badge is Break Starter. It's also going to go on Worst. You're not really going to get a ton of rebounds on defense. You should be, not really down there a ton. And so Break Starter is just not going to be utilized for you. You're usually the person on the receiving end of this badge, so I think it's a wasted badge in general. The last badge is going to be Ankle Breaker. It's also going to go on Worst. So Ankle Breaker, we all know what it does. Again, as a lock, you're not going to be put in a lot of situations where you're going to be able to use Ankle Breaker or even have it at a high enough level for it to activate too much. So this is the final list of the best, secondary, worst of the playmaking badges for locks in NBA 2K23. Like I said earlier, my name is Lance. I'm the head coach of Bucks Gaming. I'm a professional coach in the NBA 2K League. I have a Discord in the description below where I'm looking for great NBA 2K players to join if they want to learn about the NBA 2K League, how they can kind of become a pro. If they're wanting to play 2K with myself, whether it be Rec, Pro-Am, Park on either system. And then also, I'm dropping tips and those types of things on badges, this and that, and just really want to create kind of a basis of like people who want to learn the game, grind the game, and all that type of stuff. So if you're interested, like I said, there's a link in the description below to my Discord. Enjoyed the video, consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.